What's up, guys? This is Heiss, and welcome back to Stories from the Shop, where we talk about railroad stories that I've experienced mostly in shops throughout my railroad history. And today's story is another one from BNSF, the big shop. I got a really funny phone call from a friend of mine in Colorado here just this past week, and it reminded me of a class of locomotives that I got to kill. Well, sort of. Yeah. A buddy of mine is the mechanical shop forces for a short line railroad here in Colorado, and he tells me, hey, I'm getting some new locomotives from BNSF. They're SW1500s, and I went, what number are they? I need to know, because for whatever gosh darn reason, I remember all of the road numbers. It's a curse, and it's actually why these locomotives ended up getting killed, and it was because me remembering a road number, so it's funny that it all ties in like that. He just goes, oh, well, they're Great Northern reporting mark, and one's 3422 and the other one's 3439, and I go, those are two of my turds! You're getting my old poops! For context, any locomotive that wasn't part of kind of the standard schema, anything that was a little weird, got heritage reporting marks rather than BNSF reporting marks. So like the slug in a cow-calf setup would have BN reporting marks, and the switch engines had GN reporting marks, and all that kind of weirdness. They renumbered everything, maybe 10 years ago, and that changed all of that stuff. So you could tell that these locomotives were probably on the way out anyways with that sort of thing, but I'm the reason that they got rid of the SWs in the Northwest, both the SW1500s and I believe the SW1200s. At the time in the Northwest Division, we had the 3422, the 3436, the 3439 that all ran out of Seattle. They were remote control SW1500s, and good lord, they were problematic on the railroad, and there was a reason why it was good that they went away in terms of business. Looking back, it's kind of like, man, we hated those things, and nobody wanted to use them, and I just remember being like, can we scrap these? Like, literally, and now me being more in heritage preservation stuff, it's like, no, why did I think that? Which is kind of funny. Everett had the 3444 as well, and then the 3613 ran down out of Portland, down south. And then our shop switcher was the 3606. How and why do I remember all these road numbers? I could not even begin to tell you. I can't remember what I had for breakfast today, but the road numbers of all the SWs, yes, it's just kind of funny in that way. That's in part why these locomotives ended up getting kicked out of the system. So I used to joke at the shop that we had a drinking game anytime the 3422, 3436, or 3439 would come to the shop. It would either be oil up the stack, or it would be dead batteries, or it would be dead won't start, and it was just one of those every single time. These locomotives were hated by the terminal. I think there was 8 RCLs that worked in the greater Seattle area. These were 3 of them. So remote control locomotive, the railroad loves that because it means they can call a remote control qualified conductor and have him run the train by himself rather than needing an engineer. It's stupid union BS and all that fun stuff there. RCLs were like the biggest thing. They'd always ask, do you have a remote? Do you have a remote? You get the phone call from the yard and, oh, hey, do you have a remote? Oh, I've got the 3436 ready for you. And they would go, no, that's not what we want. It's like, they really just didn't like these engines. Even if they paired them with another locomotive, they just didn't pull like the Jeeps did. I mean, they're a low amount of horsepower. It's a smaller locomotive. Back in the day, they were fantastic and made great sense for switching, but these days, they were trying to pull 7,000 foot worth of train with just one of those, or with one of those paired to something. And the fact that they were remote control meant that they were being used and abused, and it was wide open to, full stop, basically, right? So you'd go from notch 8, full power, whole thing, to shut off, slam the independent on, and that was how they were switching with these things. So the wheels were never terribly happy on these locomotives. In fact, pretty much any time they would come in, they would get written up by the machinist doing the inspection down at the service track. So much so that I remember, I think it was the 3439 comes in, and they're like, oh yeah, it's in for a re-wheel, got to put new traction motors in it. And I remember being at the meeting and just going, bullshit, we just re-wheeled that thing. Ain't no way. No. And they're like, no, Mark, you're probably thinking the other one, you know, the numbers are really similar. You're probably thinking of 3436. And I was like, no, it was the 3439, and it was just here for a re-wheel. I swear, like, it wasn't even a year ago. And they're like, oh, no. So I took it upon myself to prove my, you know, pain in the assness. And I looked up the maintenance records. It was the 3439, and it was in for a re-wheel, and it had been re-wheeled 11 months prior. So that means that it came in, and after brand new wheels 11 months ago, we'd trued the wheels so many times because they'd been slid flat and they'd been shelled out from wheel spin so much. Every time it came in, we trued them. We went through a set of wheels in 11 months. Like, the tires on these wheels are super, super thick. They're like 3 or 4 inches thick. So that means we turned off on the radius 3 or 4 inches in 11 months on just this one locomotive. So I pulled that up. I got the maintenance records, got the data, presented it to my boss, and he went, "Oh my God, we can't be doing this. This is awful for the like. What do you mean? Oh my goodness, we can't be doing this anymore." And so they stopped doing this. They took all of them out of service because I found that these locomotives were just getting beat to death, and they've been sitting on a deadline ever since, basically. So when my buddy called me and told me, "Oh yeah, these couple engines are coming to work for our railroad," I was like, "You're welcome. I'm the reason that you have those. I'm the reason that they're out of service and that they got rid of them." And it's like, on one hand, you know, it made sense for the business and it was better, and they got some new remote control locomotives and Seattle was more happy, and now they've closed the entire terminal of Interbay and Balmer Yard, and it's they don't need the trains anymore because apparently they don't move freight at BNSF. But they're not doing precision scheduled railroading. It's fine. On the one hand, it's like, okay, better for the business, but it's kind of sad. It's like, okay, the SW 1500s, and I want to say the 3600s were SW 1200s. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I was the reason that those got taken out of service because I remembered the darn road number of the locomotive. It's like, no, we just re-wheeled that. It can't be. Oh, we're ruining these locomotives trying to use them, and then when they barely use the locomotives, and then when they do, they used and abused them. So that was the end of the SW 1500, brought to you by Heiss. Oops. But anyway, they should be thankful. They got 3422 and 3439 out here in Colorado now, and it was my fault. And 3613, which was actually the one good runner of all of those locomotives, is now at the ORHF, where the GS4, the Daylight, the 700, you know, down in Portland, where all that lives. They got 3613, and hopefully it's treating them quite well. That was the one good choo-choo of the bunch. The other ones would come into the shop all the time. 3444 came to us after they wrecked it in Everett. Shown that off in the channel before. But 3613, for whatever reason, she would come up for her annual, and that was it. It was a clean runner. It never had any problems, whereas the other ones, just absolutely ruined. So, anyways, I hope you guys thought that was fun. Hopefully you learned something and enjoyed the video. As soon as my buddy called me, I had a big giggle, and it was like, oh, we never talked about that. I was the reason that those got removed. Huh. And here it is. Now it's on YouTube. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. As always, thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch y'all next time.